welcome to another episode of Couch Coaches. I mean, who out there is still in shock or reeling from what that game was on the weekend against the Bulldogs? I mean, a game that probably won't be remembered for the brilliant game that it was, but rather for the match-defining and possibly season-defining non-call, I guess, from the bunker who overlooked that blatant penalty that should have gone to the Warriors and would have most likely won the game. Far out. I'm John Lazaron, and I'm joined by my co-host, Richard the Bandwagon Conductor Laddie. Richard, bro, how are you feeling after that one? Because I can tell you I'm still fired up about that one, especially after when Graham Ainsley came back with his excuses yesterday. Well, how are you feeling, mate?
Yeah, I mean, we've been sort of messaging back and forth the last few days about it, and we're both, I think I messaged you on Saturday night, and we both disagreed. We were pretty just shocked by it all. But look, it was an absolutely fantastic game of footy, and I don't want to talk. Obviously, we have to talk about the decision because it is going to. It was a shocker, and it's going to prove potentially. Well, I definitely think it's going to prove costly. But yeah, I mean the heart shown by the boys, they deserved the 2 points. It was a fantastic effort. I've never seen a back three be off for what was it in the end? Probably
almost the second half, right?
Yeah,
almost the entire second half.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, Montoya was there for a bit longer, but I think he
wasn't doing much
earlier.
He wasn't doing much really. No, he wasn't in the play. He was just there just in case, sort of like on the defensive line because he wasn't taking any hit ups. But you're right. Yeah. You're totally right. The boys were. They were amazing. There's no words to put it. They were just brilliant. I mean, the manner that they showed, the fight that they showed to stay in that game, because at the time when the game was playing, all this sort of happening and unfolding, with first sort of Chance and then Dallin, and then with his HIA, and then Montoya, I was just like, that's it. And it wasn't because I've got no faith in the team. It's just because when you've got your fullback and the two wingers out, and then you're having to replace them with forwards. And I know that Dylan Walker can play it back, someone in the back, and he can also Kurt Catewell can plays a utility role. They're still, forwards. They've been used as forwards mostly. And I was thinking to myself, that's it, because eventually they're gonna get worn out by the specialized wingers and the specialized fullback, which was why I was so surprised in that game, because the Bulldogs didn't take advantage of it. You would have thought that they would have taken advantage. Any other team would have taken advantage of the fact that they were using other players in other positions. I know Roger went back to fullback, which is a position that he specializes in, but you would have thought still that they would have done something about it. Everyone was playing out of position. I think Mitch Barnett said in an interview on that game, he said it just felt really clunky and confusing because everyone was playing out of position. You got poor Freddie Lussick playing in the middle there, got a big shot hit on him by Kickout. Yeah, it's just. And I thought I was saying to my mates at the time, because I was sitting in a cafe in Wellington City, so in Moss Cafe, I've got a mate, Francis. I know he listens to this show, so shout out to Francis. Moss Cafe, if you ever get a chance to go there. Makes a brilliant coffee. But we were sitting there, and I was just saying, oh, that's it. They're going to tear us apart now, because most teams would take advantage of that, but they didn't. The Bulldogs they have no attack. They have good defense, but they have got no attack. And I just thought we were still better. I mean, we missed some opportunities, and that was the hard part about it. But yeah, you're right. They were just brilliant. And Mitch Barnett, wow, Captain fantastic. He was amazing. The stats, I think he ran over 200 meters, made over 50 tackles. And that was that performance that actually pushed him into Origin. This is what Madge Maguire was saying. So I'm totally 100% with you on this one. It was just like it was so hard to watch, not because they lost, but it was because of the fight they put in, and they probably should have won it when you think about it. Yeah.
And there was there's so much to like about the game. Like it was the forwards in particular were just absolutely fantastic. Even the likes of DWZ and Montoya, I thought while they were on, I thought they both played fantastically. Like Montoya was really, he's there to be this sort of extra big body. He was just smashing people left, right, and centre. Got a good try. The debut from the youngster, Lika Halasima, how good was that? Like his first run, just bullfire like 2-3 guys, Unlucky, like that huge 40-meter run to, like, I mean, if he'd scored that try, it would have been amazing. It was one of the most impactful debuts I've seen from a Warrior, let alone anyone in the NRL. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing some more of him. I know there was a lot of talk throughout the week. They're like, they're going to unleash him. And there was some concerns because he's only 18 years old. Some concerns that they might hold off. But no, it was from that first tap, you were just like, oh, this guy's made for the NRL. So I'm very excited to see what else he could do. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned Barnett. I thought Capitan had probably his best game in the last jersey as well, and he was being thrown around a bit. I think he started off obviously in the second row, ended up playing centre, and I think he was on the. I couldn't even keep up with who was where by the end of it.
Exactly.
I think he was on the wing, but I think Dylan Walker felt like he looked like he was on the wing at some point as well. But I mean, and we're talking about the Bulldogs and their attack. Like, if you had someone like Matt Burton who can do that kick, why don't you just do it every time you get within 40 meters of the line? Like he didn't do it. I feel like till the last sort of 10 minutes of the game, and Roger had a couple of dropped the ball a couple of times, I think. To lose your fullback and both your wingers, and the only try you let in there was through like a bomb to the middle. Kickhouse scored from that. It was it's just frustrating. Like, we've never had a good record. I don't know. I was going to look up what our record with Golden Point is, but I know it's not great. But especially with SJ not there, he seems to be the only person who's kind of had success that I can think of in the last 10, 15 years, and as far as Warriors and Golden Point. But yeah, unfortunately we didn't. We could have at least maybe got away with 1 point there, but no points, and it's just looking harder and harder to make the 8 now.
Yeah, and putting my unbiased cap on here. So I just felt they didn't deserve to lose. And I think a lot of people have sort of echoed that sentiment there as well, because across people who are neutral fans as well, you've seen it across social media saying the Warriors didn't deserve to lose that one. They knew because everyone could see what they were up against, and to do that with literally like pretty much 14 players, because they lost 3 players. It was an immense performance, an enormous performance, and as a Warriors fan, you stand up proud and say, I'm proud of the boys for that. And I just felt that they deserved to win. Like, I mean, it made, when I was looking at some of the Bulldogs fan pages and, their social media from the club and stuff, and it sort of started firing me up, because, you see them all commenting saying, oh, that was one of the best wins. We are so awesome. We're making it to the grand final. And I'm like saying, are you kidding me? You couldn't even score properly. You couldn't score against a depleted Warriors team. How the heck do you think you're going to do that? Against other teams as well who have got a full strength side. So I mean, fair enough. They're allowed to be excited about their team winning, but I think they're just a bit delusional about how they think. If you're a Bulldogs fan out there, I'm not going to apologize for that, because it's just the truth. So it's just the truth.
You got to give them what they can get. I mean, as Warriors fans, we know how tough it's been, and the Bulldogs have had a pretty tough. I think they've obviously won a few premierships, so they've got that over us. But they've had. I think 2018 was the last time they were in the final. So to go from to play, what's that, 19, 20, 5 seasons of not making the finals, and not really even looking close to making the finals. The finally sort of, I don't know, all these big signings they've made. They completely cleared out their team in the matter of 2 seasons, I think. So which is unheard of in the NRL. So it's sort of paying off. But I mean, it wouldn't have filled me with too much confidence that one, because they probably should have done a little better. I think Burton had 4 shots that. I'm not saying we had 3, but Burton had 4 shots that at a field goal, and he's supposed to be sort of like a.
Was it 4? Was it?
Was it 4? I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I
remember him having a couple. I can't remember the others, but just sorry to interrupt you, mate. Like, you were talking about Leka, Halasima. I mean, you're right. He's made for this arena, isn't he? He's made for this, and it was exciting to see him. Meaning, you wouldn't think he's a front rower, would you? You wouldn't think he's a front rower the way he was going. And that's a good thing about sometimes, from boys from South Auckland, very, they can play those roles, but they're very athletic as well, which is always a good sign for the Warriors. Having a player like him there, and I thought he was immense. And I think because of that performance, it'll be hard to take him off and bring in others. Like, for example, I think Bunty was named earlier in the week to take that spot. But now I think that's he's going to keep it the same. Yeah, but going back to Burden, I mean, there's all this hype around Burden, but I don't understand the hype, to be honest. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I think he's a good player, and there's that bomb he does, that floating bomb that he does, that goes so extremely high, Mount Everest. Mount Everest high. It's just it must be scary for a fullback or winger to take that ball. But, and I know he got the intercept, right? But beside that, what else did he do? What else did he do? He's a 5'8". He's supposed to be, he's supposed to be their playmaker as well. And there was nothing coming out of their attack. Even Bulldogs fans were saying that, like, yeah, that was a great win, but we've really got to work on our attack. And I understand the hype, thinking, oh, Bulldog, the Bulldogs say, oh, he's a superstar. He's a great player. Not saying that, but I didn't think he did that much, to be honest. I think there were players that did a much better job than he did. It's just that his name's out there, and he got the drop goal, got the field goal in the end. So yeah, maybe it sounds like we're.
It's the bomb. It's the bomb. I tell you,
it's the bomb. It's the bomb.
Every time it was going up, the commentators just like, "Oh, that bird bomb," like they were just absolutely loving it. So yeah, I think that's his marketability. I was surprised he didn't get the call up for Origin, to be honest, in the centres over Bradman Best. I thought,
yeah,
he's obviously played a bit in the centres in his time. He's been in the camp, but looking forward to seeing what I'm sure we'll talk about Origin soon. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Big Bradman can do.
Yeah, I think Bradman Best is probably more specialised centre. That's why he's gone with them. But yeah, we'll talk about Origin soon. Look, so that's the game there. Like, I mean, you tip your hat off to all the players in the Warriors side and look, I will say the Bulldogs side, because they played well as well. They were really good defensively. They were. I mean, I just thought that like I said before, I thought it's a side that actually has a full strength side there. No one's come off. Will take apart a team that just lost 3 players. And having forward, some of the forward pack in the back line, I thought they would take advantage of it. They didn't. Or you could say the Warriors' defense was awesome. They just played great, and it was a great game. But that game, as I mentioned earlier, was marred by one incident. I mean, there were you can always argue in the game, was that a penalty? Was that was that a forward pass? You could always do that. But this was a big moment in the game, with about 5 to 7 minutes to go in the game. The Warriors had the ball. I think it was the last tackle. The ball goes to Tamari Martin. I think he was lining up for a field goal, but took the other option in the end, and was hit so late. I mean, I know that you have to slow it down to see it, but even in real play, I was watching a real play, you still see it's a late hit. And listening to Graham Ainsley the next day, I thought I called him Ainsley. Anyway, seeing him explain it and admitting that it was a very late tackle, he said in his own words, is unacceptable. But the bunker was so focused on whether there was a high shot that they forgot about the late hit. And for me, that's just not good enough. That's not good enough. I've been seeing, even Australian commentators on the day were like, "What the heck? How is that clear? How was that clear?" They were even confused, gobsmacked by that decision, and it would have cost the Warriors. I think it's cost the Warriors 2 points, because I think they still would have won if they got that ball. Pompey would have kicked it over. People can say, "Well, how do they would have defended 5 minutes?" Well, if the Bulldogs really wanted to score and not make this a real tight game, they would have scored earlier, but they didn't.
Yeah, and they didn't score. In the following set. And I think that sort of got me about that is that they were like, "Oh yeah, we were looking for a high tackle." Like, it was high anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it looked high to me, but they said it wasn't. They're not calling it a high tackle. He's
yeah, but like it was like his head hit Tamari Martin's head, didn't it? I mean, isn't there a thing? I just
Well, he broke his jaw, didn't he? He broke his jaw, and his teeth went flying out. So he's out, and he's been since. And the next day, the match review committee, they give him he took from it with an early guilty plea. I think it's a two match ban. So, like, how are they able to review that? And then, the bunker couldn't see that on site. He had plenty of time to review, and I don't know how he didn't just continue to look at it, because there was a play when Matoya got penalised, but they went back 2 plays, to penalise them.
Yeah,
and it just does my head in. And I know there's always, for years, Warriors fans have been yelling out, corruption. The refs are against the Warriors. Things sort of changed a little bit when the One NZ CEO came out openly, criticizing the NRL. Things sort of changed a little bit, but and now you're seeing all clubs sort of go through it now. Besides clubs like the Melbourne Storm, who just seem to get the rub of the green everywhere. But it was just
they know how to change. They know how to, they just know what to do. They know how to beat the rules, and they know how to bend them so damn well. But it did hurt. It did hurt, and it will hurt the club. And especially the circumstances. There's been 3 players down. It just makes it so hard. So thanks for admitting it was wrong, Annesley. I think we all saw that on the night. What was I think it was Corey Parker was like, how was that cleared? How was that cleared? He just could not believe it. And
I was listening to Brian Fletcher today, on his radio show, saying, like, he was just gobsmacked. He was like, I can't believe that was not given a penalty. I don't understand how the bunker could just miss that. It's not like it was something that could easily be missed. It was so obvious, like, and for Graham to come out and say, I don't know why I'm calling him by his first name, but for him to come out and say this, like, bunker spent the whole time focusing whether it was a head clash, that he forgot that it was a late tackle. It's just so much. That's the biggest BS I've ever heard. And going on our social media, we put the video up last night, and of Graham Annesley explaining it. And, we got comments here, for example, and some of them I can't read out because of the profanity there, but some of them are saying, I can't breathe. There's one comment there. There's another one saying, too late now, hard done by yet again. And typical Warriors getting overlooked. They didn't look at it at all. Bloody joke, match fixing. We've got all these comments saying similar things, and I think, as we mentioned on last social media, it's left a sour taste in Warriors fans' mouth, don't you think? It's just to see this happen again and again and again, and it could be a season-defining moment, because you're saying that you think that a season could be a top 8. Getting in the top 8 is over. I don't think so. I still think we have a big shot still to get there, especially with the draw coming up. You can't underestimate any team in this competition, but I still think we have. If we play like that for the rest of the season, I reckon we'll sneak in there because of the congestion in the ladder. But obviously, other results have to go our way as well. But that's my opinion. But
I like done crunch a few numbers. Like, we could potentially miss out if we win every remaining game. The way it is. So, I'm not saying we won't, but I kind of am saying we won't. But I'll keep the faith, because that's what we do as Wild fans.
Yep, fair enough. And yes, I'm honestly believing that. I'm really honestly believing that we'll sneak in one way or another. But
then we'll win the premiership.
Yep. If we make it,
from 8.
Well, we've done the miraculous before. I remember one time when we were 8 and Storm were first, and we played them and we beat them. So who knows?
Greats.
Yeah,
one of the greats.
Who knows?
I remember the little brown jug in Burnside. Oh, not really Burnside. Brimwell, maybe. I don't know what even in Christchurch.
Yeah, one of the great wins. That one, we'll never forget that day. But it'll be tough from here. But I'll be crossing my fingers and saying my prayers. That's for sure. Sure, John.
Yep. Fair enough. Well, look, I think despite that, we know that it's going to be a bit of a mountain climb. Even though we can still reach top of that mountain in terms of the finals, it is a bit of a mountain climb. We both can agree on that, and we both can agree that game was brilliant. And if they can play that well, if they can continue to play that well, throughout the rest of the season, then there's a good, as long as they keep winning, they keep themselves in contention, because it does come down to also other teams, with their, because it's so congested. But anyway, let's go on to the Waliams. This is your time to shine, Richard.
Yeah, sweet. So for those who aren't regular listeners, the Waliams are our version of the Daliams, but we just judge it on the Wahgas games.
Yep.
I still haven't had the time to crunch the numbers and give you an updated leaderboard, but I'm about 99% sure that Mitch Barnett is in the lead at the moment, and judging by his performance the other day, I figure he'll probably be getting a few more points, I think, because I'll start us off, and he's got my 3. You sort of alluded to it before, but at 82 minutes, only had 6 minutes off the whole game, 226 meters off 22 carries, 89 post contact, 54 tackles, a try assist for Mars in the corner over the left, and he was just everywhere. So and you're right. I obviously made you see that, but people were talking about how Alaquatu was axed and shock axed. And it's like, I don't think it's him being axed. I think they're just saying this guy has obviously been in the squad for the last 2 games, and with the numbers he's putting out and the way he's playing, like, he's built for Origin. So I cannot wait to see him play for my Blues next Wednesday. Very excited about that. I actually gave my other one, my 2 points to Fanua Blake. I thought he was great and played a few less minutes. I think it was about 67 odd minutes, but
it's still a lot for a prop.
Yeah, it's still a lot for a prop, and there's been a lot of talk about him and how committed he is to the team, but I feel like he looked like he was there. He had that real crucial run. I can't remember if it was on Golden Point or whether it was sort of late in the game, but he just massive run up the middle to get Harris Tavita into a good spot for a field goal, which we unfortunately missed. But he looked like he was sort of happy to be there, and I think we'll see him out this year, because he's a great player, and But he had 219 meters, 27 tackles, and 94 post contact meters as well.
Nice.
And I gave the one
epic.
Yeah. So I thought that deserved recognition, and my 1 point went to my boy Leka Halasima. Loved it. Off the bench. I didn't actually put down how many minutes he played, but I feel like it was only probably about 20, 25 maybe. But he was huge. He was everywhere. And as you said, a prop, but looked pretty safe, pretty comfortable playing sort of out in the centres there. So I'm looking forward to seeing some more of him.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, mine's actually pretty similar to yours. My points. I've got 3 for Mitch Barnett. Same reasons that you're saying, things that we're saying as well earlier. He just had a he was a beast. He was a beast on the field. He was love seeing him on there, and the fact that not only just was he just doing his job and his position, but the way he was leading the side because he was captaining, because Tohu wasn't there. And honestly, I would have. I think Tohu's signed on for next season. But I honestly, if I was Webster, I would actually make Barnett my full-time captain after that. Not because I don't think Tohu can't do it. I think he's a great leader. But I think you just need someone that's actually probably going to be playing game in, game out, sort of thing. It's sort of thing. And I think it's just best that he probably does it. He suits the captain's role, doesn't he? He suits the captain's role. He just you would think that people will listen to him if he talks. He's that kind of guy.
Well,
so
that's Sergeant, like he's
the Sergeant.
You can imagine him doing the whole team giving
like screaming at the soldiers, screaming at the soldiers to their face and stuff. You can see him being that guy. So it was awesome. And so we'll talk more about Barnett because we're going to talk about Origin after this. But my 2 points went to Roger. And the reason why I gave it to Roger is because, he's been under the pump a little bit because, everyone's been wondering, has he really been doing enough, to earn a spot in the team, because, is he there by name? And you have to say he isn't there by name because of his reputation and name. But I think this is the best game he's had all season. I think in I think because, he was in a different position as well. because he was at fullback, it meant he had to do a lot of work. I think he did. I think he had 200 post game meters as well.
Yeah,
200 meters. Yeah, over 200.
Game, I think.
Yeah, so I give it to Roger, and I just hope that he can. I mean, I don't know what if Webster. If it depends when Chance comes back, but just say for example, Chance doesn't come back for the after the bye. Does Roger go onto the wing or something, or does or go back to centre, or does Tuapiki come into fullback? Which I don't mind that at all because I'm a big Tuapiki fan, as you know. But yeah, so Roger, and then 1 point for Leka Halasima as well. Yeah, I thought he was amazing, and giving him the point because in a real intense situation, got poured into the cauldron there, and just manned up and did what he had to do and did it well. So yeah, good on him. And unlucky to not score a try on debut and possibly a match-winning try, but yeah, he showed enough for us to think, wow, this guy is brilliant. You know what I mean? He showed enough to in terms of confidence and his ability to show this guy's going to be a brilliant player. Signed on to 2027, which is even better. So yeah, those are my three players.
Yeah, I saw that. He got signed like this, signed till 2027 this week, didn't he? Like they obviously saw that performance and they're like, nah, there's no way we're letting this guy go. There's only five. I think there's only 5 players in the team who are signed till the end, and it's the likes of Barnett and I think Cleary, maybe Metcalf and someone. So Egan, I think. Yeah, so they're obviously they're really looking for him for the future. So I'm excited to see some more of him. I'm sure we'll see some more of him this year. Have to after that.
Yeah, definitely, totally agree. Well, let's move on to Origin. Normally we don't give Origin, we don't speak about it too much. We love Origin, both of us. Richard, supports New South Wales. I support Queensland. So there's always a bit of rivalry there. But the reason why there's been a lot more talk about it, especially amongst Wahgas fans, is because of the fact that there are 2 Wahgas players playing on each side. And this is I think it was only the second time this happened in history. But the difference was in this series is that Mitch Barnett, he made in the first 2 games he made the squad, but he didn't play. He was on. I think he was number 20 in the first game, and he was 18th man on the second game. But this time he has been called onto the bench, and I think he deserves it. He deserves it. And as I was saying earlier, New South Wales coach Matt Maguire basically saying, how could you not put him? I think he was saying you can't. How do you, that performance against the Bulldogs sort of tipped him over to say, yeah, he deserves a shot. And like you were saying before, it wasn't because the what's his name? The Manly forward that was in New South Wales, just a brain snap. Yeah, it wasn't because he wasn't doing anything bad or anything, but just that Barnett was just playing better. That's what it was. It wasn't to do with he was axed because he was doing something bad. But he only had 2 runs in the last game when they demolished Queensland. So he's just gone with someone, and you look at I was listening to Paul Gallen, and he was saying that he was really happy with Matt Maguire having the balls to flip and to change the squad, because people would say, why would you change a winning squad? Why would you do that? That's what a lot of people say. But Paul Gallen was saying he thought it was a great move to bring Barnett in there because he deserves a spot, and probably also offers a bit of more versatility for the New South Wales side because he can play front row, but also he can play in the middle as well. And he did that for the Warriors, went from front row to the middle, because he had to stay on a bit longer. And he can do that, and he can do it with ease. And yeah, they say that there are players that are built for Origin, and he comes into that category. So why it's exciting, this game, compared to the other first 2 is because he gets to play. I mean, he comes off the bench, but he's still going to play. I'm assuming that Madge will use him a lot because he, will use him a lot. But also, Kate Well is starting this time, and most likely in place of David Fafita, which has been a bit of a controversial topic at the moment. But it's awesome to see both of them there. Billy Slater's been copying it a little bit over in Australia at the moment because he cancelled their Open Media Day, which is normally a day where the media spend the whole day with the team, photos, interviews, everything. But Yeah, he's copying it over there, and people
he's on the back foot. It's so good to see, it's been a few years since we've seen, especially after game one, such a convincing win in game one, obviously happened because of the send-off.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a few odd little selections. I mean, I'm still not quite sure how Val Holmes is. I think this is a question that needs to be asked. Yeah, like how is Val Holmes still? Surely there's someone better than him out there. He's not had a great season for the Cowboys. They bring Gagai in. Like, okay, that's promising, and then they're like, oh no, we'll just try to chuck Holmes on the wing. Like, I know he's been there and done that, and I mean, he's scored plenty of tries, and probably is still pretty handy kicker. But I mean, you'd think you'd want to have like a specialty winger there. Obviously, it would be interesting to see what would have happened if Coates wasn't injured. It's obviously brought that on. The Fafita thing's weird. There must be more to it. It's the whole from the same as last week when Cobbo kind of the last game when Cobbo sort of just got bumped out of the squad completely after a pretty impressive game one. I feel like there's a story there. Maybe there's questions about his loyalty after the backflip, or I don't know. But yeah, I mean, if I were Billy Slater, I'd be pretty happy to put someone like David Fafita in there. He adds just the extra element of excitement. And that I like sort of like what they're talking about with the trial when the trial was in game two, which I'm gutted that he's not playing this week, because I think even though Mitch Moses was quite clear sort of the man of the match, I think the trial was probably the second best on the field. I thought he absolutely, he was up against Val Holmes for starters, and absolutely made him look like a fool. So
well, do you think that players such as Connor Watson and stuff deserve to be in the side? Like, I mean, like, I know he's had a pretty good season, but like, I mean, the side looks really good. Like, I admit, looking at the New South Wales side, it looks like a pretty good side. It looks like a really good side. I just think that
I'd probably rather have someone with a bit more utility. I mean, he can obviously play sort of hooker lot.
Yeah,
he's played in the halves before, so he could go in there. So I suppose in that respect, you've kind of got every position covered if one person's injured. But yeah, like, I mean, having Ponga on the bench is a pretty exciting prospect for Queensland, that's for sure. I know he's only just back from injury, but I mean, especially with Harry Grant on the bench as well, it's quite an interesting decision to have. Like a specialist hooker and then a utility. You're going to have to rely on some of your mids and your edges for some pretty huge minutes. So it's Kapusi and I think Mo Fotuika are the two. On the interchange. So there'll be some big minutes from the likes of your Kerrigans and Capewell. I mean, I've said it before. Capewell's an 80-minute player, so he should be playing. 80 minutes, and I'm sure a few of those other guys will be. Nanai will be playing sort of 80 minutes as well. So do you think that?
Sorry, mate. Do you think that Capewell has been promoted to starting? Because you were saying earlier on in the Warriors game that it was probably his best game, and I agree with you. That was his best game he's played. But do you think that that sort of pushed Billy to say, okay, look, we'll use Capewell instead? Do you think that's what's pushed him in, or is it because of more just a loyalty thing or an experience thing? Because Fafita,
loyalty and experience more than anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's been there, done that. He's been part of that team for a long time, and I was pretty surprised to see him even get that, in game two to get called up, because he hadn't been lighting the wood on fire at all. But that is also the Queensland mentality. They sort of pride themselves on, and it's worked.
They step up, don't they? They step up.
Many years. Yeah, I mean, it's worked well for them for many years.
Yeah.
And he obviously knows the system, and Billy knows that he should be able to get 80 minutes out of him.
We did say that in the last Origin game, hopefully Capewell's selection will lift him up, and hopefully it'll just spark something in him to to transfer to club level, when he comes back. And I think it has. I think it has because like you said, it was his best game last weekend. He didn't have that bad of a game the week before when we won as well. So I think that's the case, and I just think that it's a good thing for the Warriors. It's a good thing for the Warriors. But looking at that Queensland bench, it does look a bit odd. But do you think it's because it's also a lack of depth at the moment? Because I mean, they've got the thing is they've got in the squad Reed Marnie, who don't even get me started on Reed Marnie, but he's in there. I didn't even think he'd be in contention, to be honest. Surely they've got someone better that can replace Harry Grant in case Harry's can't play because he's still a bit of under a bit of a injury cloud at the moment. So
yeah.
Is do you think there's a bit of a lack of depth at the moment in terms of someone that could step up to Origin level?
Yeah, when you look at their bench and the extended bench, it kind of feels a little bit like it, eh?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just trying to think. Like, I think Sewer he's carrying a bit of an injury, but he was available for selection, so that's a bit of a funny one. Like, whether they're just sort of throwing him under the bench or they just is. Yeah, I mean, and Sewer's been there for a while. He's been there for a few years, and he's won a few titles with whatever you call it. What do you call it, a title? State of Origin. Interesting to see him sort of get
win
dropped.
the series.
I mean, they're obviously trying to bring some some new blood in there. Just looking for the future with their sort of extended bench there. Pekura for the Broncos has been great. Trent Loiero was a bit of an interesting one. I was surprised to see him as 18th man. But, I mean, he's part of a good system, so they'll keep him there. But yeah, I'm definitely coming into this as a New South Wales fan. I'm definitely coming to this game quietly confident, John.
Yep. No, fair enough. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you that the New South Wales side looks very, very good, even with Latrell out of the side. It still looks like a very, very good, solid side. And I have to admit, even though I don't support New South Wales at all, I still think that with Mitch Barnett there, I'll be kind of hoping he has a good game for New South Wales. Like there'll be I think most Wales fans will be on that line, even if they support Queensland. I think seeing one of their players playing, doesn't matter if it's for New South Wales, just seeing them playing, they'll be just be in support of that. They'll be in support of him on the field. Doesn't matter if they support Queensland or not. But the same for Capewell. But I just think people are just really happy for Barnett because he's worked so hard and he deserves a spot. And and I think that's just you hear Phil Gould, again, Paul Gallen, like I mentioned earlier before, other Aussie commentators out there saying Mitch Barnett, they're saying like, yeah, he deserves the spot, he's made for it. So no one has an issue with him being in the side, especially coming into a winning side, because they just know that he will enhance the team. He wouldn't do anything else. He's not there just to replace someone. He's in there to it's really interesting with Barnett is that he made that real hard, tough decision to not be at his son's birth to stay with the New South Wales camp team. Yeah, and I mean, personally, that's not something I would do. Something I would do, but he did it, and obviously his wife's okay with it and stuff. So, I mean, I'm assuming she's okay with it, but because it's happened now. But it's also, I think what Madge was saying that is that he just saw his loyalty to New South Wales, and he saw how his heart bleeds blue. It bleeds blue. So basically, that's actually sort of thrust him into the side, and because it comes down not just to your ball playing ability, it's also the attitude you have, and that's the way he's looked at it, and he deserves a spot. But look, that's Origin. It's coming up on July 17. That's my birthday, by the way. I just wanted to say that if you want to send me presents. It's my birthday. So the next biggest announcement that came up today was that, I mean, we knew it was coming because it's sort of confirmed, but they really, really confirmed today was that the Warriors are going to Vegas. They'll be playing on March the 1st. And it's part of a festival called the Rugby League Las Vegas Festival 2025. It involves 8 teams, 4 games. So the first game is actually a Super League game between Wigan and Wigan Warriors and the Warrington Wolves. They're playing the first game. Then the Warriors play the Raiders. So that's an interesting one to start off with. I was hoping they'd play Penrith or something. I was hoping that would be the case, but yeah, let's play Raiders. You'll probably be happy about that. The third game, the Australian Gillaroos, the women's team versus England in Test match. And the final game in Vegas will be the Panthers versus the Sharks. So 8 teams, 4 games. Man, I would really love to go. I would love to go, but yeah, it's not. I don't think it's going to happen. It's not going to happen. But something that I would love to go to. I'm assuming. I think Cameron George was saying they're going to put some packages together for Warriors, fans to be able to go there on like a tour, sort of a package deal. I think a lot of people are going to do this. I mean, I remember reading in the comments in one of the social media Warriors fans pages that there are people who have already bought tickets and flights, and people were questioning, well, how do you know when the game was, what day it was? It hasn't been confirmed until today. And they just went on the assumption that it would be March the 1st, like last year. So thankfully for that person, I can't remember who it was, their name, but thankfully for that person, they got it right, and they've got their tickets, they've got their accommodation sorted. Lucky bastard. Lucky bastard. But anyway, so yeah, Vegas. Would you have loved to have gone to that? I mean, I shouldn't assume. Are you going to go to that?
Oh, I'd love to. I've got to talked about it before. Me and a few of the lads have got a bit of a, we put a bit of money aside a week. And we're saving up for a trip. And someone has crunched the numbers on what Vegas would cost for, I think, a week or something like that. And we've also got a little betting account as well. So I think we needed to increase our betting wins by like 2,000% or something like that if we were to if we were going to be able to afford to go to Vegas. So as much as I'd love to be there, I've been to Vegas twice. It's a great place, and it would be awesome to go to something like this. I was a little bit surprised. I mean, I knew there was that was sort of the teams that were rumored to go, and but the Raiders sort of like, I suppose it's the NFL team, the Raiders.
I'm glad to,
we're based in Vegas, so that makes sense. And the Panthers are obviously the sort of top creme de la creme. The Sharks is a bit of a weird one. I'm not quite sure what the reasoning behind then. Like, I feel like maybe you could have just sent the Broncos again or something. They're obviously, as much as I dislike the Broncos, they are kind of like a Brisbane
showcase team. A showcase team.
Showcase team. Or Melbourne, the Storm.
Exactly.
So I was a little bit surprised to see the Sharks there.
I'm with you on that one.
The decision's been made, and I'm looking forward to watching the game. And it's cool. As I said last week, but it's cool just to see the club getting a bit of NRL acknowledges the commercial value of the Wahgas at least, even if they don't acknowledge them by giving them decisions that go their way.
On the bunker, but no, I'm agreeing with you. I mean, commercial value of the Warriors. You go anywhere, there's going to be a big turnout, of fans for the Warriors, and I think they know it too, which is good. But I was surprised by the Raiders. I don't think they had the same pull as the Warriors do, or the same sort of supporter base, because most of their fans are just in Canberra, basically in Canberra. But New Zealand, there's so many New Zealanders scattered around that it's different. But it's the Sharks. I was really surprised by them because, again, I call them the pretenders, and I think their last month or so is showing that. And things, and it's going to probably get worse with them with Nico Hines out. Nico Hines is apparently gone down. So unfortunate for him. But but Vegas. I mentioned this last time. I had been to Vegas before, and I had a great time there. And I was well behaved because I am I was well behaved. I'll leave it at that. But Richard, if you had gone with your mates, would it have been what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? It would have been one of those sort of trips for you, or will you be, the good boy, the good boy?
Well, considering that,
judging by our does good boy sound creepy?
Judging by our form to the grand final last year, and judging by our form there, I'd say that we would have been, we would have had a good time. Definitely would have been. I'm sure that a couple of black jack tables would be hit, and a few pokies, a bit of roulette, whatever tickles your fancy. But no, it'd be such an awesome trip. But it'll just be, I don't know, maybe next time, just the stages. Maybe next time I'll make the trip over.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Are your mates married and stuff? Because you'd have to protect them if they're single, if they got married in one of those chapels. One of those chapels. So you want to make sure that they don't go doing that to some random person.
Most of them are married or engaged, so we should be all right. Yeah.
All right. It's not like
Elvis to marry them.
Yeah, Elvis to marry them, but no, not like a hangover situation, all right? Like a hangover movie situation. So, Vegas is actually. I mean, it was when I went there was 2009, 2010, around that year. So that's still like a long time ago, 15 years ago. I had a great time there. It was a lot more cleaner than I thought. It was a lot more cleaner than I thought, and it was just a great place to be in. There's a lot of interesting things you can do. Like I said, roller coasters on top of buildings and stuff, things like that. So that's the sort of thing I did. Had fun doing that sort of thing. So, but I would love to have gone as well. But yeah, when you've got kids, your life changes. The pocket gets drained, the wallet gets drained.
Yep.
As I'm sure you understand. I'm sure you understand with that one. Well, look. Before we go into tips to wrap everything up, I just wanted to ask you, because we've got to buy. So there is going to be a bit of FOMO, not having a game on this coming weekend. But I guess it gives the players a good rest, especially when we're again been sort of hit by injuries. But also the next game in, who just give me a couple of minutes on your thoughts on who would you bring in positions, because just say. I don't know what the extent to Charles' injury is, or Montoya's one. I know Dallin will come back because his one's a concussion. But actually, I do remember Webster saying that they won't be back for the next game. Most unlikely that Charles and Montoya wouldn't be back for the game after the bye. I remember him saying that actually now that I can recall that. But Dallin would come back because
listed as indefinite. But I think from memory, they're both about 3-4 weeks at least. So
let's talk about that. What do you think? What are your thoughts in terms of who do you bring in to replace them, and how do you reshuffle the side a bit?
So I'll probably put Tuapiki at the back, your boy.
Finally.
And I'd probably move Roger out to the wing, and then have Leatua or depending on Rocco Berry's. I think he's the same. They're not quite sure still exactly when he'll be back. But if he was back, I'd probably put Rocco Berry in just because he's been there and done that. But if not, have Leatua and Pompey in the centres. And then, so the rest of the team kind of picks itself, doesn't it? As far as sort of the halves and the sort of, looks like they've sorted out a few, rotations with some of the forwards and paying Jackson Ford off the bench, and the front row's pretty speaks for itself, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. Pretty much exactly the same. I think most fans would say the same thing as well. I think Tuapiki straight to fullback. He's proven himself. He doesn't need to prove himself. He's proven himself. He just needs to get in there again. And also Roger to the wing. I think that'll be he'd be better positioned there. And if Berry comes back, put him there. Otherwise, chuck the young gun in there as well. With Pompey, I don't think Pompey's done much wrong to be cut out. He's done pretty well, and his kicking game's been pretty good. His conversions, his ability to convert some really interesting goals, some difficult goals, has been awesome. And Harris Tavita, keep him at 6, Tamari Martin at 7 until be interesting when Sean Johnson comes back. What happens there? But for the next game they play, I think he's still out of the question. And like you said, the forward pack speaks for itself. Fanua Blake, Wade Egan, Mitch Barnett at prop as well. Ukure in the second row with Kirk Capewell starting. I think that's the best way to do it. And with Dylan Walker at 13 at lock, that's for me is the best way to do it. And bring Tohu off the bench, because when Tohu is back in, I don't know if he'll be back for this game. I don't know what it says on the injury list there, but I would put Tohu back.
I don't think Tohu is. I think he's another one. They're not quite sure how long from memory, but it seemed like it was going to be. It could be a few weeks.
Well, it makes the bench interesting because look, the last game, Lussick was in there, Tavanga, Jackson Ford, and Halasima, right? Now we're both saying Halasima should stay there, and he'll be a front row. So Jackson Ford he's been used as a front rower, but then you've got Freddie Lussick and Jazz Tavanga. Now, if Tohu was fit to play, he'll either be starting or he'll be on the bench, one or the other. We both know that's probably the case. So who drops out? Is it Lussick or Tavanga? Because Tavanga, he had a pretty good game himself. He didn't have that bad of a game himself as well. But one of them has to go if they keep Jackson Ford and Halasima, just say hypothetically. So who would you have drop out? Because someone has to be able to cover, your hooker as well, because just in case Wade Egan goes down, because it has happened frequently this season. So
yeah.
Or what happens there? What happens there? So who would you have on your bench?
I'd probably either have. I think probably, but it would feel for him, but I'd probably drop Jazz. I think.
Yeah.
Put Tom Harrison there, and then keep Lussick just because it is handy to have. And last 2 games he's come off and put like just some 20-25 minute stints. But I thought on the weekend he sort of proved that. I don't know, he can fill the middle if he needs to. He's brave. He's pound per pound. He's a brave guy. So I think that's what I'd be doing, especially with Dylan Walker there as well. I've always said I always have my questions about those Jazz and Dylan Walker playing together, merely because they're quite players and fill a similar role.
Yeah, or would Webster go with Tohu starting at 13 and then using Dylan Walker as that utility, playing that utility role, and then having playing that utility role, including coming on when Tohu comes off, and then just switching into hooker if needed, if Wade Egan goes through the whole game, unharmed, good, awesome. But so it's gonna be a tricky one, but it's a good headache to have. It's a good headache to have because it just means you got some players to pick from, because that's been something that's been a problem for the Warriors all year. Who do we pick from because of injuries?
Yes, it has.
Yeah. Well, look, let's wrap things up with the tips, because there's not much games. There's only 5 games on with the Bulldogs, Cowboys, the Panthers, the Raiders, the Roosters, the Storm, and the Warriors all having buys this week. So it's a good rest for quite a few players there. But let's go through tips in this round. Let's wrap this up. First game on Thursday night, Dolphins, Rabbitohs. Who you got?
So Dolphins will be without Hammer, won't they? And the Rabbits will be without Latrell and. No, I'm on the Rabbits to make the 8 at the moment, the way they're playing. Rabbits for me.
Oh, you're on that bandwagon now, eh?
I hate them. They're one of my least favorite teams. But I think you could do worse than putting a wee bet on that, eh? That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I am going to go with. I'm going fins up.
Yeah.
I'm going fins up. All right. Next game, Sharks, Tigers.
Sharks
without Nico Hines, remember?
Benji and the boys come to town. It might be the kick in the ass the Sharks need, so I'll go the Sharks.
Fair enough. I mean, it could be very dangerous when, like, for example, we got Braden Trindle taking over as halfback. It could be a situation where, for example, a Sean Johnson situation where he gets injured and we're like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? And then Tamari Martin steps up because he wasn't playing well before that, at 5'8", and then he comes in and steps up. So it could be one of those situations there for the Sharks.
Yeah.
But just looking at the side, I'm thinking I'll go with the Sharks on this one as well. I just have a feeling they might just tip over, but not by much. Not by much. Titans Eels on Saturday night. First game for Saturday.
I love the Titans here, to be honest. I think no Moses for the Eels, and I think Big Davey Fafita will be looking to just prove a bit of a point. So I like the Titans.
So the Eels have brought it because Moses is out. They've brought in Dejan, former Warrior Dejan Nasi. He's playing halfback though, because I know that last time when Moses was out, Dylan Brown was taking over the halfback role, and Asi was taking over the 5'8" role. So they switched around. So I think they've realised that didn't work. That sort of combination didn't work in that sense. So they've done a bit of a switch there. But yeah, I think with Jaden Campbell at 6, Kieran Foran there, Fafita's still there starting. Yeah, I think they just look too strong. Brian Kelly's been playing well as well. So yeah, I'm going Titans as well for the game against the Eels. Next game on Saturday night, Broncos Dragons. Broncos, obviously without Reece Walsh, Pat Carrigan, and also without Payne Haas, because he'll be playing for New South Wales as well. But they're also without Selwyn Cobbo and Jock Madden as well. Yeah, and then Dragons are out with Ben Hunt, Blake Laurie, and Zach Lomax. Zach Lomax and Ben Hunt playing Origin as well. So that's gonna be a hard one. Yeah, it's gonna be a hard one. Yeah. So who you got?
So we're playing for the Dragons.
Who?
So we're playing for the Dragons.
Aiden Sawyer, yeah, he's playing for the Dragons. Yeah, he's been listed to start at 12. Yeah.
Broncos need a win, don't they?
They lost 4 in a row. They lost 4 in a row. So yeah.
But Israel Man's still there. Katongi Staggs will still be there. So
I don't really know much about Josh Rogers, their halfback.
Yeah, he's played a few games here and there. Yeah, I'll go Broncos.
Yeah. Broncos, yeah, I'll go Dragons. They're playing at Suncorp Stadium, which is a big surprise. When did the Broncos ever get to play at Suncorp? Do they ever actually play outside of Suncorp? Far out. I mean, seriously. That's another one of the NRL conspiracies. The Warriors, get it over the green, and then Broncos just have every game a home game, especially even when they're, and also they get an away game when it comes to Magic Round. Oh, well. That suits them well.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
Yeah. Seagulls Knights for the last game on Sunday. Again, for the Seagulls, Ben Trojevich, Danny Terry Evans, Jake, captain of New South Wales, are out on that team. Newcastle have Bradman Best out, Dan Gagai, and Kalen Ponga out. Those are the big ones, big names out because of Origin. Yeah.
And Connor Watson.
Who have you? Yeah. True. Connor Watson's Roosters.
Oh yeah, he is too.
Yeah.
He did play for the Knights.
So yes.
Yeah. I just in my brain, he was still playing for the Knights. Seagulls.
Yeah, it's a hard one. I don't like Newcastle at all. I think they just irk me. I've said this many times before. For some reason, there's something about them that just annoys me. They're just a team that, again, like the Sharks, like pretenders, but Sharks are bigger pretenders. But I think I'm just because of the fact that Leo Thompson plays there. Kiwi, Phoenix Crossland, even though he hasn't played for the Kiwis before. Okay, I'll go with the Knights this one, just to be a bit different. But those are the games. How are we doing for the tips anyway? Like, what happened last week?
What happened last week? I picked the Rabbitohs, you picked the Titans. We both got the Panthers. Neither of us got the Bulldogs. We both got the Storm. Both got the Roosters, and you got the Knights. I think you got 5. I got 4. And you're on 79, and I'm on 84. So I've still got a 5-point lead.
Okay, slowly clawing my way back. So it's all good. It's all good. Well, that's us for tonight, guys. Thanks a lot for listening. We hope that you're enjoying the show. We know a lot of people have been sending us messages in and letting us know they're enjoying it. We thank you so much for the support. So the reason why we keep going is because we're getting that support. And you can help us as well by spreading the news about our show. Also, going on Facebook, on Instagram, and seeing our posts there as well, because we're getting quite a bit of engagement there. So thanks a lot, everyone, for jumping on board with your comments as well. Keep tuning in with us. Spotify, where else are we on? This is where you come in. Let us know what's going on.
YouTube, iHeart, iTunes, most of the platforms. I forget them all, but if you're on a platform and we're not there, let us know and we'll see what we can do.
So again, guys, thank you. Just remember to subscribe, to our channel and like the channels and spread the word. That's what we need right now. But thanks for your support again, and good night and up the Wahgas.
Up the Wahgas, baby. We've got the thing. We've got the thing.